Hello YouTube, and back once again with my Last Man on Earth episode reviews. And for those who have been watching me, if you notice, the vibe quality is not horrendous, and that's because I went out and bought a camera, so no lag. Woo. Yeah, that was for me. Sorry about that. But anyway, let's talk about the Last Man on Earth. This is they played episode 5 and 6 back to back tonight. So let's talk about episode 5 first. Dunk the Skunk. And the premise of this episode, it's Will Forte, he's not enough of a bastard to break Kristen Shaw's heart and like just try to sleep with Jerry Jones, but that's not going to stop him from trying to get consent from Shaw to for him to sleep with Jones. And that's the premise of this episode, because he comes up with the one thing I was kind of shocked that Shaw would not think of, Kristen Shaw would not think of, considering how much her character thinks about the future on, if I only repopulate with you, all of our children will be doing some Jaime and Cersei Lannister shit with each other if they want to keep going. So, and, yeah, that's, it's him basically trying to convince them, like, if I repopulate with the both of you, we can get more people going on that angle, and he just more on the lines, he just wants to sleep with Jerry Jones. So, yeah, and, all I can say is, this, I thought this was better than last week's episode. It was really funny. It definitely had a lot of good lines, from all the cast, including Jones. She was never given, like, a huge joke, like, she was never given anything, like, giant to say, like, Forte or Shaw was given, but because oh yeah, what's with Shaw and diarrhea? She talks about it a lot for some reason, but anyway, I digress. But yeah, no joke. She was giving a lot of subtle humor that definitely made me laugh. If you like, just like how annoyed she was getting by Phil sometimes, and I will also and Will Forte, he's just as funny and likable of a lead as ever. I loved when he basically I love the fact that like. He basically they just don't go along with him. Like they are kind of pissed off at first that he's like being such kind of just like being such like a blunt bastard to like Kristen Shaw, just say like, oh well, I should go sleep with Jerry Jones. Yeah, no, like Kristen Shaw is pissed off, and so is Jerry Jones that he would suggest that. But yeah, and I kind of like the fact that they were kind of like, well, fuck you, Phil, for saying that. I like how like that felt kind of real, and and I also loved how Phil tried to make up with them doing kind of like a fair kind of thing. That I thought that entire scene was really funny. That made me laugh, and I also like the fact that like they come to the consensus. You're like, yeah, you're right. You're right. You do have a good point. What you're going for. Yeah, they just weren't glad on how he suggests. They just didn't like how he suggested. And I also the way they talked about how like he was listening with Jerry Jones, I thought was really funny. And so, yeah, really funny episode. Lots of laughs, some good drama, some good heart. And now I have to talk about the ending. Spoiler alert. But at this point, does a spoiler alert mean anything less than what you think it is on the show? Another member of the cast shows up tonight, and that is Mel Rodriguez. I think that's how you say his name. As the new character Todd, he shows up in this episode, and the one thing I gotta say though is I'm kind of bummed out that they basically. I was cool with them adding women to the show quickly, female actresses to the show so quickly with Jerry Jones and Kristen Shaw. I was bummed though that they added a male actor so quickly. Because come on, the show's got the last man on Earth. Why did you have to? It's only episode 5 and you added him in. But I gotta say, his build up in the episode I thought was hilarious. Like just how you see him like driving around like in a red convertible, like going as fast as he can. Just like you never see the top of him, you just see him get out of the car. You only see the bottom of him, like in cowboy boots, and like you see him wearing sunglasses, and that's it. And I will say this though, I know a lot of people say, I think I may have mentioned this in the past one. A lot of people mentioned like, wait, if everyone's dead, where's all the bodies? I've always been like, oh, it's a comedy, just go with it. The one thing I gotta say though is, where's all the cars? See, that kind of annoyed me, that there was just no miles of no cars. I thought that was weird. And he shows up at the end of the episode, and Mel Rodriguez, and it was a really funny thing when he just gets out of the car, and you just see it's like this, like kind of like kind of a heavy, kind of like shortish kind of guy who just had a huge smile on his face and just said like, "Hey, I'm Todd." I thought that was funny, and Yeah, and all I can say is another good episode. And stick around. I right after this one to shoot my episode 6 review. And please subscribe YouTube, and I'll see you then.